Why was I a fool in school for cutting gem?
This guy's got him scared to death.
It's like, this guy's got him scared to death.
Who doesn't see her through me?
Something, and I knew how to swim. Beyond. Well, if you're here for the first time, hey, this is me in the comfort of my own bed with my husband, chilling in my PJs. And this is my husband, by the way, guys.
Hi.
This is your first time on the show.
It is. Thank you for having me on India and Stuff.
Yeah. Ian is like all things camera wizard, so every time I've had a technical difficulty, he's been behind the scenes. And you also like listen to my episodes. Like,
every time.
You're one of my 12 listeners, so thanks.
I try to be the first, but some people have beat me to it, and I'm going to fight you. So
thanks.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And if the camera work sucked, I didn't help with those ones.
No, he was so picky about this. I was like, I'm just going to put my little camera up. He's like, it's not the same. I was like, whatever.
Yeah. I was like, I got a bigger head. Why am I closer to the camera right now? It just doesn't make sense.
It's literally fine. Look at our Squishmallow collection, by the way. I think I introduced some of these in a previous episode. We've got Mooney.
Wait, why are you holding Noom, our
We've
cat?
got, what did you name this one?
We've been trying to figure it out. Isn't it something with like soup?
I like soup. And this one's Poe. Anyway, we started watching Mulan this week, and then I fell asleep, and then we watched it again, and then you fell asleep. So we're kind of in a Mulan mood, hence the musical number. Mulan mood. It's Ian's birth week, sort of.
Happy birthday
to you. And I wanted to do a fun little episode with you as your like first time on the show.
32.
Yeah, to celebrate your birthday.
32.
He's so old, but he's so handsome. You look honestly like way younger. Like I feel like you look permanently 26, but then I'm 27 and that feels weird to me.
Yeah, 5 years difference. And if I shaved, I'd be 17, and that also is weird.
Ian's just handsome.
Thanks, babe. Yeah, it's been a good week. Lots of celebrations, lots of family, friend gathering.
Lots of tea.
You had an incredible Tuesday, Wednesday of last week.
Yeah, lots of stuff. I'll jump into the last week and then we'll hit the theme song because we have to do that. Yeah, so last week, I've recorded these all ahead of time, so some of them might be out of order. But if you've heard me talk about the Getaway content retreat, it happened last week and it was so fun. Like, honestly, there was a few little things that went awry, like hiking a group of people into the woods thinking I was on a loop trail.
Changing locations last second.
But then I was just not. I was just guiding them 3 miles away from our cars. And then we had to like hitchhike with some random people that were nice. And they had a Lilo and Stitch themed car. I didn't tell you that, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I trust that then.
Yeah. So, you know, we're good. That was really good.
I thought that was decent.
So yeah, that was last week, but it was really good. We had a great turnout. We had a lot of photographers, a lot of people a good mix of folks who like didn't know, I guess not didn't know, but just like brand new to photography or more hobbyists with photography, and a mix of people who were like full-time running their own business. So it was really cool. We did a whole bunch.
But I didn't know.
Yeah.
I was like, yes.
We did a whole bunch of things on Tuesday. We did like a workshop. We did a hike. We did a mentorship session with an amazing guest photography educator. Then we did a styled shoot, and then we had an overnight. And for the overnight, you came down, and we ended up staying up until midnight to celebrate Ian's birthday because it kind of coincided with your birthday.
I am going to judge you a little bit and call you out on this. At 12 minutes, at 12 o'clock and a couple of seconds, a random person that I knew for minutes at that point was the first person to wish me happy birthday.
I was chatting with someone around the fire.
Wife was caught up in a conversation.
I was chatting with someone around the fire pit.
I love her intentionality. And she instantly jumped into singing the McCue themed happy birthday song, which is singing it as poorly as possible, which is how most happy birthdays sound.
Yes. So if you're ever around a McCue gathering and everyone sounds really bad, that's why.
Yeah. So it was wonderful. We stayed up till midnight. Felt super celebrated in the midst of your incredible accomplishment of your first content sponsored day that you led.
But also it was just cool that you were willing to do that because I was like, okay, also we're bad at this. We planned our wedding on my brother's birthday.
Sorry, Chip.
And then I planned this giant getaway knowing that it's an overnight, so it like leaks into your birthday.
Sorry, Ian.
Yeah, so it's like, and then I was born on my mom's birthday.
Sorry, Stacy.
So it's like we always, which is also Christmas Eve. Sorry, Jesus.
Sorry, Jesus.
Like everything is always on the wrong day, but it's all good. You're an amazing.
This will probably come out on your
person.
birthday, and sorry.
I was complimenting you.
Oh wait, do it again.
I was like, you're an amazing person. You were like talking to the camera.
Please tell me everything incredible.
No, but you were very generous to come and share your time and talent.
Thanks, man.
During my thingy, but.
Your thingy.
My thingy.
Yeah.
It was great.
I gotta bring some film gear, do some BTS. Hopefully you guys will see that soon on just some generalized content of what your event was like.
Do you want to tell them, like, roll theme song?
I do actually roll theme song now. Wait, what is it? Parent Trap, right?
B-roll is so bad. It's like random iPhone clips because I just wanted to get this going.
I think we should maybe use this instead of the theme song this time, and people are like, wow, what a beautiful rendition.
I love it. So that happened last week, and then it was your birthday. And on your birthday, also, I told him he could bring his little beverage of choice.
I feel like
his special
Thor
drink.
Drinking a beer.
And this is what he
It's too big.
It looks like urine, honestly.
You're welcome.
Anyway, I have water because I'm trying to be hydrated today.
You had a drink at dinner, and I
had
did
a mojito and a cappuccino, and not at the same time, but no water today. So, anyway, what else did we do on your actual birthday? I already forget.
We did.
Oh, I know. Okay.
Vaqueros. We went to one of my favorite Mexican restaurants.
El Vaqueros.
Authentic
Mexican food.
Got way too much queso, if that's even possible. It was great.
That was good. You went to work. You went to work, then went to dinner.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I am frustrated about is El Vaqueros did not give us a free birthday anything.
Yeah.
You know, when you go to a restaurant, it's like, hey, it's my birthday. Then they should give you something.
Like, cool,
we went on his actual birthday to El Vaqueros, nothing for free. Then later in the week, we went to Olive Garden, and I was like, it's kind of his birthday week. And she gave us free cheesecake.
My favorite. What I mean? My favorite.
Like, you should always be, as a restaurant, like, yeah, always something. Even if it's just like a little cookie or a little lemonade, like a little something
little
for
free margarita.
Free marks.
Something.
And a free pitcher of marks.
Yeah, that was really great. Like, honestly, this year I wanted a simple birthday. Hopefully in a week or two after this comes out, we might have a bonfire where you guys are invited.
Random people on the internet.
But it's not just getting older and not just being introverted, but I wanted it to be simple this year. We got a lot on our plates, and I felt celebrated by, some of our closest people, and people texted me and said happy birthday, and got some of my favorite food, made some art, and that was good. Like, that's all I wanted. Put it in the comments below if you can relate to just like as we get older, wanting things to be a little more simple.
Bro, so real. The people don't know you yet, so do you want to give a rundown of like who you are? Who are you?
Yes.
And then like I was gonna say give an overview of Orlando, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, I can
but
do that.
Also I wanted to play like there's a little tiny game.
I'm down for whatever you want. This is your podcast.
First tell them who you are, and then we'll go from there.
Awesome. I'm Ian McCue. A lot of people in the film industry, I'm a filmmaker. They call me Q. So a lot of my profiles and things are Ian Q McCue. I spent some time in Los Angeles honing my craft as a filmmaker, and people out there started calling me just Q, even though there is no Q in our last name.
It's true.
And I moved back from Los Angeles to make a TV show, and it's loosely based off my hometown in Delaware, Ohio. And 2 months after I got back, I met this lovely lady.
It's me.
It's her.
I'm the
She's
issue.
not the issue or
me.
problem. And so yeah, I'm a filmmaker by trade. I did a lot of college things, a lot of majors. Finally, felt called by the Lord to lean into filmmaking. I'm a storyteller. By necessity, I've directed and screenwritten a lot of things, and I've landed heavier into that space, even though acting is like my favorite. And so I've acted in. Lord's blessed me in being able to act in quite a few things recently. And but also be an award-winning director, screenwriter, editor, and all that. So this Orlando trip that you were asking about, Miss on her phone, not even interested in my life story.
I'm getting the game ready.
Totally
it's not
fine.
that big of a deal, but I
You're
thought
gonna
it'd be
zoom in
cool.
on me so people don't see.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
You want me to tell you about Orlando?
I'm gonna have my VA do it.
Cool, awesome. So you want me to talk about Orlando?
Yeah. So I mentioned on the show. I don't know if I should call this a show, a podcast, or just literally like chaos.
Call it whatever you want. I call it a chaos.
Yeah, it's just like so weird.
But chaos. Oh, okay.
I mentioned that you went to the Orlando International Christian Film and Faith Festival.
International Christian Film and Music.
Yeah,
Festival.
I actually had it wrong this whole time.
Yeah.
And by the way, when I told that to Whitney and Carter was like, I love all those things. International Christian Faith Film Music Festival.
Oh, we love you, the Zimmermans.
Love you guys. Yes, so I told the show about this, and if you want to just elaborate, like, you got nominated for an award, what that was like, and the project you were a part of.
Yeah. That'd be cool. So I'll jump into this a little bit. Director and pastor by the name of Tyler Sampson out in Corydon, Indiana.
Where the corn grows higher than your nana.
Yeah, amazing.
Drive your tractor to Alabama in Corydon, Indiana.
You're strong. My goodness.
Where we gonna film my can and grief share. Hope you don't have blonde hair. Hope you know that there's always a way there.
And cut.
Okay. Go ahead.
Tyler Sampson in Corydon, Indiana. He's a pastor, filmmaker, and I just love this guy. He was the director of I Can, which India was in last summer in theaters, and it has been just continuing to succeed on different platforms, bringing the gospel to people. It's been an incredible experience, but they were making their next film that originally started as a sermon series, a 4-part sermon series. And they brought in talent from Canada and all around, and very, very much more established names and actors than I feel like I have credit to my name, right? That wasn't well said, but like they are so talented. They've been in the industry longer. They have much more weight to their names. And Tyler calls me up with the screenwriter, Evan, and was just like, hey, you're the lead for this. And I was like, what? I was a camera guy for you last time, and brought me in, and he's like, I trust you. So I got to lead this ensemble cast in creating this 4-part miniseries called Grief Share, which is about 4 different characters that are sharing grief inside of this. They're sharing grief share inside this circle. And the stories all kind of tie together, and they're all based off of parables in the Bible. And after we filmed the 4-part miniseries, we're like, wait, if we just add a couple scenes here and there, we can make this a feature. And that feature then got sent to ICFF, the International Christian Film and Music Festival in Orlando.
But see, it's ICFF. There's no M in the acronym.
Well, because it's International Christian Film and Music Festival.
Yeah, it's like...
Yeah. Because music is a little... And... unknown to me, it got submitted, and Tyler got nominated for Best Director. It got nominated for Best Inspirational Film. And then all of a sudden this...
You got nommed.
I know, and then all of a sudden this nomination came in for me as Best Lead Actor. And I'm against A-list names, against like, our budget for this film was like $1,000. And we're up against $7 million films.
Must have been more than $1,000, but still.
They spent about $1,000. It was like
really?
food in my paycheck.
Wow, that's true.
And the rest was volunteer. Yeah, India got a small part in it. Yeah, she showed up to volunteer for the rest of the time. Shout out to Linda, who hosted us, even though she wasn't there. We love you, Linda. And
that was last July.
Yeah,
that was fun. And then 2 Julys ago was I Can.
Absolutely.
So we'll see if we're gonna be in court on Indiana this July.
Yeah, who knows? But long story short, I got nominated, and I was just going to go for a couple days just for the showing of the film and the awards. And India signed me up, and I won a grant to allow me to go for all 4 days. And then my work, bless Hunter Marketing, that they let me go. And they supported that. And I got to go for all 4 days. Networking was amazing. I made a ton of new friends. Starting on the first night, God just really ordained a lot of different networking and relationships. And one of the guys that I met on the first day, I found out is an investor, him and his wife, in other projects, and they're even interested in investing in some projects that we have been praying about for 6 years, even though I've only known India for 5. Like,
yeah, it's true.
That's just something that was
really
one of the biggest blessings out of this was projects that I was like, God, in your timing, let this come to fruition. Those projects might have a chance to see the light of day and share the message that I feel like and the stories that I feel like we have been wanting to share with the world for a little while now. And so, yeah, there's a chance of those to come to light, and people are jumping on board, and we're being a little particular about who we let in the room, because once you get into the big time with investors and streaming platforms, like, reach out if you're interested, but we do have to be a little picky in who we let at the table. Because it's not just my say anymore. It's also people with the money and the vision and the producers. And it honestly excites me all the more, because I think this project will be bigger and better than it could have been with just kind of me at the helm. So,
you know what it reminds me of?
What's that?
Is the song from Big Time Rush. It's like, we're gonna make it big time. That's how
that's how that remind you.
Yeah.
So this is our marriage.
Ian goes to something very serious,
super
and I'm
stoked
like,
about things, and she's
Disney
like,
Channel original content.
Taylor Swift.
No, it's so exciting. It's so exciting. Yeah. So it was really cool because it was such a God thing that you got to go. You had the time in your schedule. Sorry, I have something in my eye. We had the grant come in for your ticket, and then you flew down on Spirit and got to meet amazing people and hopefully have a new connection for the next project. So we will hopefully have more info to come on that. But for now, just like,
be praying about it. Yeah, be praying about it. And I even got a last second slot to audition in front of casting directors and producers, and I used a scene that I wrote that morning, but based off the script that we've been writing.
That I wrote that morning.
But it was based off the characters that I already knew from the script, and got interest for other series and films. And it was just such a beautiful time to see a lot of our hard work over many, many years kind of come to fruition for more promise than we've had in a long time. So there's no guarantee in any of this, but it kind of rejuvenated my soul and gave me a little more
oomph.
Yeah, a little more oomph about what God has called us to, and I'm just thankful that he gave us that little nudge in the right direction. Hey. So she just said buddy because Appa, our cat, just jumped on the bed.
Oh, they know Appa. Hi, buddy.
But he's not seen in the... See, this is the whole camera difference. I'm like, he's not on frame. You have to give the people context about... There he is.
What a perfect boy. Want to say hi?
Hear him.
I don't know if you can hear his little purrs, but he's absolutely perfect.
Perfect.
So cute.
Yeah, that's ICFF. That's a little bit about me. I'm a filmmaker. I love my wife. I love Jesus. And just trying to trudge through this life and do what God's called us to, even if it's the hard thing.
Yeah. So cool. I love you, obviously. So I was gonna be like, I love you so much. And it's like, obviously I do.
Hopefully.
But I'm very grateful for Ian. And I always say, like, for all my single friends, you know, listen.
I'm taken.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I was like, what you talking about?
I always say for my single friends, like, if you want a spouse, if you're praying for a spouse, if you think that that's something that, you know, you hope that God brings you, well, it's never a guarantee. Like, hold out for an Ian, because I think you're awesome, and not just in the stuff, like, because you're good at the stuff like film and acting and all that, but just as a human, because you're amazing, and I love you, and you support me in everything, and like you're so sacrificial and kind and generous and lovely, and I just love you so much.
Y'all hear that? It's on film now.
It's true.
But I also will say this: I waited 5 more years than you.
Oh, I didn't kiss your cheek. That's weird. There you go.
It's weird to kiss me on the lips.
Yeah, not on the show. Not on my show.
Come here. Give me a kiss.
Okay.
But I waited 5 more years than you, and so even if you're true. Oh, if it takes 5 more years, that's fine.
Yeah, it works. You're 32 now, and I'm 27. It's weird. It's weird to say that you're 32 because you just don't feel 32. Like, in my head, you're permanently the age we met. So I'm 22 and you're 26.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, that's just how I feel like we are.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm 27. I'm almost 30. Like, who? That feels
What's wrong with being 30? That was so 2 years ago.
No, but like for me, I feel like, oh, I just got out of college. And it's like, oh, that was 5 years ago. What?
Yeah. I just ran into someone and they were like, man, yeah, I'm 22 now, I graduated college, and I was like, I'm a decade older than you.
It's weird. Time is weird. And I think, again, COVID didn't help anything, and adulting's strange. And anyway, he's going to take another sip of this giant Miller Lite.
If I hold it closer to the
light?
camera, then it looks bigger.
Anyway, okay, so for your 32nd year of life, of existence, Do you have anything that's like something you learned that you're implementing going into this year?
I think it's a culmination of many, many years of discipline in not giving up on my dream. And it's not just my dream, but it's a calling, it's a persistence of I feel like a lot of the world and specifically Western culture kind of puts time limits on us of when you have to accomplish something, and if you don't by then like get serious about life. And I'm like, I'm serious about my calling and what God's called me to do in acting and film production. And even if it's uncomfortable and hard, and we've talked about this, if we have to sell houses, if we have to move, if we have to be away from family and community, like still prioritize those things. But God isn't necessarily a God of comfort. He's a God of joy and a God of like, it's worth it to follow him in the midst of things. And as I get older, no matter what culture has said, I've been more and more affirmed that leaning into my calling and what God's called us to is far more worth it than giving up on it for something that's more comfortable and secure.
Mm-hmm.
And there were some rough years in between 22 and 32 where I was like, maybe the people were right. Go to plan B, which should have been my plan A. Go do this thing. Go be an educator, which like educators like great, but I'm not called to that right now. And so I think it's just a little more affirmed in 32 that even if it is difficult, follow what the Lord has called you to and it is worth it.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for, like, this isn't just cheesy. Like, I'm thankful for a spouse that leans into that with me because it is hard. It is really difficult sometimes. I mean, there's times where we're pinching pennies and do we move in with family and do we sell all we have and do we move here or there or do we give up on things?
Yeah, there's a lot of practical decisions that come up. And I was just talking to a friend about this. Like, yeah, you can trust God. And there's also like okay, but like what's your decision, A or B? And you can't expect God to just like interrupt it and write it in the sky and be like, it's decision A. Like, you are trusting God by making decisions and choices and releasing the outcome of that to him.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that I'm slowly learning, but that I've noticed in both of us since we've been married is like, instead of just being like, I'm just like existing, I'm chilling, God's got it. It's like, okay, but like,
but we do the
are you going to work here or there? Are you going to live in Ohio or California? Are you going to live in Cincinnati or Columbus? Like, you can still release it all to the Lord and also make decisions. And like, one of the pieces of advice that I hold on to a lot is like, blessed if you do, blessed if you don't kind of thing. And just be in that mindset of if we're walking with God constantly and saying, all right, Lord, like, please direct my steps. Then when those choices come and whether you do or do not, whatever that big decision is, hopefully it's blessed either way because we're like aligning ourselves with the Lord's will and constantly like asking for guidance.
But it does take you to get up, lean into people, ask for wisdom, and pursue what is good and holy. And I think that that's the step that some people miss, that they'll just sit there. And it's like, no, actually, we're going to do the hard thing because, like, my film business started to hit a really slow patch where it made it really hard on our family. And I'd be like, oh, God called me to film. God called me to film. But I took a corporate job for, the time being, and it's been wonderful. It's been a blessing. And I love my workplace.
It's not corporate. It's a small business.
Yeah.
But it's great.
But it's an agency, right?
Yeah.
And I don't get to make my own schedule. I don't get to decide my own clients. But, like, that also was an answered prayer. And on my, third week there was when I went to Orlando. And my work blessed that. And so, like, my obedience of saying yes for our family then led to, like, I want to be careful not to preach a prosperity gospel, but God also loves his kids and shows favor to those who are obedient. And my obedience to be like, okay, God's calling first, like God, my wife, and everything else after that in certain orders. And he's like, thank you for that. I feel like we made a hard choice in doing that. Like, it wasn't easy. And in that, we got favor in Orlando, and we got favor in the workplace, and we got new friends, new community, new opportunity. And I'm really excited for, like you said, blessed if you do, blessed if you don't, but also do it with wisdom.
Yeah.
Do it with people in community.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's really, really hard, but I'm excited. I'm excited for the future. And it's not exactly what I thought it would look like at 32, But it's what God has for us, and I'm thankful for it.
If you could like tell yourself at 22 what life would look like now, like what would you say to that person? Like Ian at 22, what would you say to be like, it gets awesome.
I'm not 22 anymore.
You get a really sexy wife? Or would you just be like,
oh, I knew that was
it's gonna be crazy, buckle up. Like, what would you say to 10 year ago old Ian?
I would say save up a little more money so you don't have to spend your last $50 on a first date with India.
Yeah.
Yeah, what would I say? I would
Because what were you doing at 22? You were still in school.
I was finishing up college. I was about to head to Los Angeles.
You didn't yet.
Nah, I didn't.
That was later.
Yeah, 22 would have been... Yeah, I was about to finish school because I started late, as in all things in my life. And what would I say? I don't feel like my pursuit of Jesus has changed much, except I would have prepared myself for the seriousness of adult conversations as opposed to like childhood conversations, because hearing from as a 16-year-old from a 16-year-old, like, hey, that's cool, you want to do that, that's so fun, you want to be an actor, fun, cool, but like what are you probably going to do in college, that's whatever. But then like the moment that I was considered as like an adult when I graduated around 22, 23, and the seriousness of the adults and the more firm I had to be in my faith of what God had called me to, that was more challenging than being the black sheep of a community at the age of 14.
Yeah.
Like that was tough back then, but when respectable adults that have more say in the community and in life and that people look up to, like really serious people that challenged me, I'd be like, get ready for those conversations because those are going to be harder to stay faithful to God's called you to than it was growing up. Like I was like, oh, these are easy. I'll just tell people I love this and God called me to it, and they kind of lay off. But when older people that you respect and love and look up to and want to be like challenge you, that's tough. So I'd say prepare a little more for that because I don't think I was ready for all the answers in my faith, in my work ethic, in my idea of next steps. And it was really hard to continue to pursue what God called me to after that. So
yeah, I think there's like a very violent turn from like 17-year-old senior in high school to like 22-year-old graduating college.
Yeah. Can I say it?
Yeah. No, it's just weird because you're just like one day you're kicking around a soccer ball and you're like auditioning for like the school drama production. And then the next they're like, so what are you going to do with the next 40 years of your life? And then you're like going from asking permission to use the bathroom to like being expected to figure out taxes and insurance and, you know, where you're going to live and how you're going to set up a 401k. And it's like, wait, what?
Yeah. And on that note, I think this needs to change a little bit in our culture. Is we go from telling kids you can be whatever you want to be, and then the moment you turn 18/graduate from college at 21, 22, saying you have to figure it out now and be that.
And not that they can be whatever they want to be, that they have to be what society needs right now.
It's no longer the childhood dreaming, like you can be anything that you want to be. No, it's like figure it out and also adhere, change, mold to what we need you to be.
Yeah.
And I think that is toxic. And it can help some people that need direction. But if you're feeling called to something, I think it can be very destructive to people that are like, oh, wait, I thought you told me I could be whatever I wanted to be. And then 2, 3, 4 years later, people are like, oh, we lied about that. That's no longer true. So I think that's one of the things that I would encourage you if you're listening to this and you're anywhere between 18 and 25, like the world's going to tell you some things, but let God be the stronger voice in that.
Yeah, that's good. All right. I'm going to
Game.
Turn us to our game just because it's not much of a game. It's just to get to know you better.
Drink for this?
Just because I'm getting tired and I want to finish Mulan this time.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'll make a man out of me.
Out of me?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So this is just a little simple thing. People do this on social media sometimes. It's like what I'm into or what I consumed recently is usually how they call it.
I'm in.
So we just go through different categories of like
hit me.
Music, books, whatever. Like
is this
what
like
you've done
fire?
recently. Yes.
Okay.
You can expound if you want to.
Expound.
I don't even know if that's the right word. Expound.
Expound.
But if you want to give a little context. So you're just going to think about like what you're into recently in each of these categories. Oh. And then share it. All right, so what did Ian consume recently as far as music? Any artists or albums?
The new 21 Pilots album, and thanks to you, the new Billie Eilish album. I also liked that. I avoid Taylor Swift because I've heard a little too much. Sorry, people. She just plays it all the time. But I've been the number one artist that I've been leaning into is Hazlitt. He's from Australia, recording in London, has a European tour coming up.
He's from Australia.
And Hazlitt has been my favorite artist. It's kind of indie folk. It's like Bon Iver meets Novo Amor, but it's better. Yeah. So shout out to you, Hazlitt.
No, he's great.
He was the opening act for Lainey last year on a tour.
And even though you saw Lainey twice, somehow you missed him.
Somehow missed him, but check out his new single, Bones Shake.
10 toes and tall grass must be
That's
nice.
Blame the Moon.
So good. Ian loves some Hazlitt.
Wait. Think fights better off outside. 10 toes and tall grass must feel nice.
Literally so good.
Okay. No, not that.
Okay, I'm not gonna sing Hazlitt. Okay. TV.
I didn't do that justice.
What shows are you into right now? Or what did you consume recently?
High school, I started the Walking Dead series, and over the past couple of years, I've been slowly trying to...
High school was 15
I know,
years
but
ago.
over the past couple of years, I've been trying to actually catch up and finish the series because there's all these spinoffs as well. And I finished The Walking Dead. I finished Fear of the Walking Dead. I finished Dead City. I finished Daryl Dixon. And I just finished The Ones Who Lived, which is the newest series. So I finally have consumed every piece of content of The Walking Dead. And I'm thankful for it. I also watched Fallout, based off a video game. So,
I am not watching any of that right now.
So I watched the dark, mysterious, post-apocalyptic, kind of dystopian, futuristic fantasy type series. So just finally finished The Walking Dead.
Amazing. Meanwhile, I just finished selling OC season 3, which is my real estate drama show. And then I'm still watching Gossip Girl. I'm on season 5 of that. What else am I watching? Well,
I mean,
that's all for shows.
I mean, we're kind of watching The Legend of Korra together.
Yes, and we're
watching The Colony together. We're watching
Monk.
New Girl together.
I've been watching Monk.
You've been watching Monk.
Okay, there's a couple others.
Yeah.
Why do we have like 6 shows and it's all dependent on the mood? It's like, are we in a New Girl mood or Legend of Korra
always
mood, or
dark dystopian mystery drama,
Chuck?
Unless I want to serve my wife and then I'll watch a comedy with her.
I love it. Anyway, okay, what books have you consumed or are consuming?
Yes. My wife, this lovely lady,
Okay.
bought me the coolest. The only flaw is the very, very small font. Good thing I have good vision. Of The Lord of the Rings. And I'm reading them again. And it has The Hobbit, and they're this beautiful leather bound. And I'm probably 2/3 of the way now through. I have been reading it actually without you knowing. 2/3 of the way through the Fellowship, and it is just wonderful. Lord of the Rings. I stand on that as being the best ever.
Can I confess something? Today, I went to a coffee shop and I was like backing up photos, and I wanted to take a really aesthetic picture of my cappuccino. So I pulled out the book that I had with me, which I haven't started yet. And it's Funny Story by Emily Henry, which is like a really viral author right now.
That blue cover with the yellow. Yeah.
I haven't started it though, but I just flipped it open to like a random page and took a photo. And I got like 5 messages of people like, "Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Like, please tell me what you think."
Halfway through
and I was like,
story.
Yeah. And I was like, I haven't even started it. I just needed the like aesthetic vibe.
I mean,
and it's overdue. The library texted me yesterday and was like,
"Oh no,
you have books due." And I'm like, I haven't started it.
I actually found that book laying about, and I put it on the sink this morning while we were brushing our teeth. And you said, what is that?
Well,
and I was like, that is your book.
I was like, wait, why are you handing me this? Like, you want me to read it now? Like, I know it's overdue, but like, what?
Yeah.
So if I owe like $2 to the library, that's on me.
So Walking Dead, Lord of the Rings.
Okay. And then what have you consumed with movies recently? Ooh, Disciples in the Moonlight. You told me all about that.
Oh, I was about to get there. Disciples in the Moonlight. So at ICFF,
music.
When I talked about the character in the couple scenes that we added in to make it a feature, there's a guy named Brett Varvel, and pretty big name, and go check him out. But he starred in and directed a film called Disciples in the Moonlight, and I am so thankful for this film because it is one of the first Christian films, faith-based films, if you will, that I believe non-believers in Jesus will want to see because it is entertaining, it is good, but still brings a gospel message.
We love it.
And we got a like premiere, early premiere before anyone else. We got to see this. And I was freaking out the whole time, texting you and just like,
you were like, oh my gosh, like, we have to read our Bible. We have to watch this. We have to get friends. I was like, that's all. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm like, that's awesome.
Mid-July, it comes out for a 5-day limited theatrical release. And depending on how well it does, it might get more and more time. So go watch it. It was something just like special.
Yeah. We had another podcast that is kind of on standstill right now, but it was called McCue, if anyone found us from that. And we talked a lot about how faith and film intersect and how we're kind of like fighting back on the notion of like Christian film, because like a film can't be born again. A film can't know Jesus as its Lord and Savior, but a film can like have faith themes and, you know, Bible-centric focuses. And oftentimes, unfortunately, Christian films are preaching to the choir, and they're just kind of like creating family-friendly content that's just for Christians instead of like really deep, meaningful storylines that draw anyone, Christian or not, closer to God. And if that's the focus of the gospel, then shouldn't our film be the same? Yeah. So that's kind of like an overview of like our theology on stuff like that. So if you're interested in any of our other takes on film in general, McCue podcasts are on
Season 2 is coming up.
YouTube and our Spotify.
Yes.
Season 2 sometime.
It will. But what I will say is one of the number one things that a lot of filmmakers tell you is make the film that you want to see. Mm-hmm. And that's why I went to school for behind the camera, was because I didn't want to be limited just as an actor. I was like, I want to make the film that I want to see. And after seeing Disciples in the Moonlight, I genuinely texted India and talked to everyone around me. And I was like, this is the film that I wish I made because I want to see it.
That's awesome.
So go watch it. I think it is so well done. So well done. And I'm excited for you guys to, if you want to come watch it with us, we'll do a group showing and we'll find a theater that it's in and we'll all road trip. Like I genuinely believe in it that much. It's really great.
And rapid fire, 2 other films you should watch if you want gospel themes. Book of Eli. I can. Book of Eli and
featuring Denzel Washington.
The Harry Potter franchise.
And lean in, you conservative people.
Okay,
I mean, but genuinely, if you're like, hey, I don't know about it, but if you love Jesus, like you can find gospel themes in The Lord of the Rings and The Chronicles of Narnia and Hunger Games and Harry Potter. And so if you're on the fence and you don't know and like you've grown up in a place that it's like, hey, this might not be healthy for your soul, like discern that. But Harry Potter can actually be a really good metaphorical gospel representation of what it's like to follow Jesus. So maybe lean into it in that way. So I'm going to challenge you listeners on this podcast.
Challenge my 18,
I'm just going
12, however many
I'm going to be like, hey, this is what I'm feeling.
So I think I met all my listeners, too, at the getaway last week.
Thank you all for coming.
Like, everyone was like, oh, my gosh, I listen to your podcast. I was like,
I heard some of them
you're
go,
the 12 people.
Oh, my gosh, I listened to your
Spotify
podcast.
tells me that I have 12 average listeners a week. Yay. And then
I listen on 3 different accounts. You have 9.
YouTube says I have 18. So I'm like, oh. Okay, anyway. All right, what else did you consume with drinks? What's your go-to drink right now?
Sprite.
No, you also like...
I've also been chugging water, honestly. Like, water, who knew? Who
you
knew?
like Golden
But
Bears.
I like Golden Bears. It's Arizona iced tea.
This feels like one of those scrapbooks when moms are like, my son is 18 months old and he likes Golden Bears.
Strawberry Capri Sun.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, and I have switched to light beer, but I'm trying not to drink beer right now because I'm trying to lose weight.
Minus the...
I'm really not trying to drink beer right now. So, some bourbon.
Okay, that works for drinks. What are some food items you're really into? You go through phases with food. As your wife, I can say that. You go through you go through really strong, like, I'm on a ramen kick, and that's all you'll eat for
whatever
lunch.
my wife cooks at the time for me.
And then the soy sauce noodles.
I do go through phases. And so it's like soy sauce noodles with eggs and...
From Trader Joe's. If you go to Trader Joe's and get the soy sauce noodle pack... You know the one I'm talking about? It literally says soy sauce noodle.
She bought me like 4 packs and
then you
I finished
mix,
3.
You like do it. Then you add some sesame seeds, a little bit of green onion if you have it, and then a like
chives.
Oh, chives. Then you add like a scrambled egg. It's delicious, nutritious,
Really is.
yummy.
Really is.
You love that.
But we've been. I'm trying to get healthier. I genuinely have been craving kind of the foods I craved in Los Angeles.
When I was in LA.
When I was in LA. She makes fun of me for that all the time. But
farmers market
sitting
down
stuff.
And you're like, when I was in LA, we had better places to sit.
I've talked about this with you. I don't like when people make fun of me for that because God worked in mysterious ways.
I know.
So when I was in LA, the Santa Monica Farmers Market was a beautiful place of like enjoying, like, I want zucchini, I want hummus, I want like cheese and crackers, like not fancy stuff, but a lot of the more kind of healthy, simple, better foods. Appa, stop cleaning yourself.
He's literally hardwired to do that.
You're done. You're done.
He's a good boy.
Yeah, I've been leaning more into that style of like, I'm intermittent fasting on meals, but the snacks, I'm just like, give me some like carrots and hummus. I like charcuterie board-esque stuff all day.
Give this man his cheese.
All day. And cheese.
What have you consumed recently? Social media channels, including YouTubers or anything like that people should follow or that you like right now?
Yeah, my YouTube channel has been mostly disc golf. I'm sorry. It's not been a lot of creative things. Jomez Pro. There's a guy named AC Frisbee. Shout out to you. We're on a card together in a tournament recently. What would you do if your name was
Frisbee?
His name wasn't Frisbee.
Hey, Mr. Frizz.
The Foundation Nation. YouTube's been a lot of just kind of like, it used to be work related. I was like, let me study cameras, let me get inspired by filmmakers, and I have a lot of projects right now, and I'm decently inspired that I'm really trying to let that YouTube be a space for like hobby fun.
Mm-hmm.
And so Instagram is friends and some inspiration for film. And then YouTube is like fun hobby stuff. That's about it.
Yeah.
Like I'm not doing Twitter. I'm not doing TikTok. I'm really trying to limit my consumption. And Instagram is for inspiration and friends. And YouTube is for hobbies, and that's it.
Yeah.
And it's been good.
Yeah.
And then TV shows and Netflix and Amazon and Hulu.
I love it.
So
last question is just like,
this is a long episode. Sorry,
I know. I'm getting so tired. I'm like,
I can tell. Here, so I'm your host, Ian McCue.
I was just gonna say, like, is there a brand or something or a hobby or something that you've been doing recently that you're really into? Disc golf. We also just went thrifting for you last night. I didn't know if you had any recent things, like brands that you like to shop from thrifting, or I just dropped that in my crotch. It's fine. It's
you didn't have to specify where. Yeah. So 2 things.
Shout out Discmania. Who's your disc? Innovate Discs. Innova, Peter McKinnon's, Skyrim, Scott Caliber.
Okay. So
Callaway, Scott Calvinall. Scott Calvin. That's the guy from Tim Allen's.
Scott Kavanaugh is my dad's best friend from childhood.
Scott Calvin is Tim Allen. Santa Claus.
Callaway is my godfather's old company. Okay. Yeah, so lots of things, and a couple of things that I will say is I've been a little discouraged by like clothes because
I hate
I hate
clothes. Ian
clothes.
McCue, age 32.
Yeah, but I mean, 32 hits different, and I'm not the weight that I want to be. I've been a little very self-conscious about it as a man, and I am thankful for a wife that as I was trying on clothes while thrifting, I was like, "Hey, can you get 4 inches bigger on the waist of these pants for me to try on?"
Listen, the
And
short is in for the guys.
yeah, but I've been trying to lean into like I don't want to invest in a huge closet while I'm not the weight that I want to be. So we've leaned into thrifting, which I will do anyways, but like I don't have to invest too much to be confident in what I'm wearing. We just went yesterday, bought a ton of awesome clothes. What's up?
Wait, I just had a really bad idea.
Okay. And so also I love disc golf, and I've been doing some tournaments, and those have been really fun. I just played in Idlewild, which is my favorite tournament ever this past weekend.
I know.
This is defeat. Tell me.
Quickly just say really bad idea would be to make a like big and tall or like plus size clothing line called But Wait, There's More.
But wait.
And it would be really, I think it'd be cool.
You're gonna get canceled for that one.
No, because I'm always like, oh darn, like my pants don't fit. Yeah, and it's like, but wait, there's more, and it's adjustable like seams. We'd make a million. All right, listen, comment if you'd buy. All right, anyway.
Do our curtains look like chinos?
The fact that you know what the word chinos is, I had to Google it a couple years ago. But I know.
One of my friends, Josh Loveling's friend, Chris, just asked me. Chino. He looked at Josh's pants and said, "Hey, nice chino," and then looked at me and said, "Do you know what chinos are?" And then I looked at Josh's pants and said, "Those."
Those pants.
So that's when I learned.
Amazing. Okay, sorry, I interrupted you with my weird business idea, but
she has 2 of those business ideas every day.
Every day.
So thrifting and honestly disc golf, like I love it. And I've told India, I was like, if we are financially stable and I don't have to work for a year because of some project that we sold or some acting gig that we did, if I could just focus on getting good enough in disc golf to go on tour for a year, I'm like, oh man.
You love it so
much. I love it. Like it is just such a healthy outdoor hobby. Like I experience God a lot in nature. I love getting out and feeling that competition vibe from like high school of after school, we got a basketball game. And but like as an adult to be able to kind of continue that feeling, practice my craft, hang with people, be out in nature. It's genuinely something I love.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful that I love that more than golf because golf is like $40, $50, $60 around. And disc golf is like invest originally like in the discs and you're pretty good to go except for tournaments, which you don't have to do.
Yeah.
But I got a couple tournaments this year, just played one of my favorites. And I'd say those things have been really, really healthy to separate, you know, creative, like we need this for our future, and just what gives me life in the moment to help me restore and rejuvenate in the meantime.
Love. I'm obviously falling asleep right now. So
we might have to re-record this because
no, it's perfect. I just also need to disclaim, I don't know this phi beta gamma. What is this? Gamma phi
beta?
Yeah, beta. In case anyone's like, oh my gosh, it's my sorority. I thrifted this while I was tipsy when we were on vacation.
In Florida?
Yeah, it's like technically Alabama,
Orange Beach, Alabama.
I had like literally not that many. I had 2 Bloody Marys. And then you took me thrifting, and I don't remember. Well, I remember it. You know what I mean?
It was hilarious.
Don't remember why I was like, yeah, I need that shirt, that $2 purple shirt from another sorority.
I think you saw the back of it, and it was dope.
I just like the
color. But
color.
she was tipsy enough for me to be able to like get a 3-dimensional wolf painting thing, hologram something.
Yeah.
That she wasn't.
I remember
able
it,
to
and I was
kind
like,
of
no, it's not a good
contested
investment.
enough that now he's up in my office and his name is Aspen.
Anyway, that's the vibe. I don't know this sorority. You're 32. We had a crazy weekend, and we're gonna go to bed now.
Please.
And watch Mulan.
Oh, I'm gonna waste this beer. I'm not even gonna drink the rest of it.
That's a lot of beer. Was that 2 beers?
It was a big one and half of a small one.
Beer's so gross. I'm into sour beer. Not that anyone's asking, but I'm into sour beer.
So, this game, what are your new drinks?
We'll do it. We'll do it another time. That's it, y'all. Bye.
Love you guys. Bye.